Now on night shift, we join ITN at their studios in London for the early morning world news.
Good morning, it's just after 5:30 on Sunday, the 20th of March. Welcome to ITN's Morning News. The headlines today. The IRA down an army helicopter at an RUC base in Northern Ireland. A sapper from South Wales becomes the second British soldier to die in Bosnia. And Eric Cantona gets his marching orders as United are humbled by Swindon. IRA terrorists have used some form of missile to bring down an army helicopter over a security base in Northern Ireland. The helicopter was hit in the air as it was preparing to land at the Army and RUC base at Crossmaglen in South Armagh. An RUC officer on the helicopter was seriously injured. The 3 Army crewmen were also hurt, but managed to pull the policemen clear of the burning helicopter. Christine Smith reports.
The Lynx helicopter was coming into land at this joint police and military base in Crossmaglen when it's thought it was struck by a missile fired over the perimeter wall. Security forces say it hit the ground and caught fire, but eyewitnesses said there was an explosion in mid-air.
The lights went out and a small bang followed by a very loud bang, and I ran upstairs to my window, looked out at the security base, and there was large flames inside the perimeter walls, and a lot of shouting and very strong smell of rubber.
An injured policeman was pulled from the blazing wreckage by 3 military colleagues. He's now in hospital where his condition is described as comfortable. The explosion caused substantial damage. The RUC have praised the crew for their courage and skill in bringing the crippled helicopter down clear of surrounding houses.
I'm very angry, and I have spoken to so many people in this town whose lives were traumatically affected by the blast tonight, who had damage, who had you know, all sorts of problems, children who won't go to bed, elderly people terrified in their homes.
This latest terrorist attack is the second incidence of violence this weekend. Earlier in Belfast, police arrested 3 people after buses and vans were set on fire in loyalist areas. It comes amidst rising frustrations with joint government efforts to find peace in the province. The Irish Foreign Minister Dick Spring has hinted that Dublin would talk to the IRA even if it agreed to only a temporary ceasefire. The Unionists have condemned his remarks, but Mr Spring says hopes of anything else just aren't realistic.
Meanwhile, the Ulster Unionist leader James MOLYNEAUX has condemned the Downing Street Declaration on Peace in Northern Ireland and said it has run its course. Mr MOLYNEAUX said there was no mileage to be gained in seeking to accommodate the terrorists while the IRA continued to murder.
Mr MOLYNEAUX said it had been suggested the December peace declaration could be developed and built upon, but he said you can't hang much on a dead Christmas tree. And monstrous statements by Irish politicians, he said, only serve to excite fear and suspicion in the community.
I hope I'm not in the habit of uttering blood-curdling predictions, but I would be failing the people of Northern Ireland if today I neglected to warn the Irish government that they are steering a course which will prove disastrous for them and for us.
The Downing Street Declaration is not dead, according to Mr Reynolds, the Irish Prime Minister. He said it would remain on the table as a guiding set of principles. And he insisted that an internal settlement, as sought by Unionists, just wouldn't work. Mr MOLYNEAUX, a standing ovation for his speech, had this to say about that.
I simply do not understand it when they produce proposals which amount to joint sovereignty over Northern Ireland, and nobody wants that. Not more than about 9% of the people of Northern Ireland want that. Why do they go on with this nonsense?
Mr MOLYNEAUX said the continuing campaign of murder by the IRA should have made it clear to the Irish and British governments that there was little mileage to be gained by trying to accommodate terrorists. He said the joint peace declaration had run its course.
British Army commanders in Bosnia have ordered an investigation into the death of a soldier there, the second to die on peacekeeping duties in the Republic. Corporal Barney Warburton of the Royal Engineers was killed by an explosion as he was clearing mines found near the Coldstream Guards base at Vitez. Corporal Warburton was 27, single and from Gwynedd in North Wales. From Vitez, Hollowaway reports.
Corporal Warburton was killed instantly whilst preparing to destroy explosives lying amongst the shattered ruins of Vitez.
The site is in no man's land between the confrontation lines surrounding the Muslim enclave of Stary Vitez. The area has been cordoned off. His body has been recovered and an investigation is now underway to determine the cause of the explosion.
He and his colleagues were trying to maintain the new peace between Muslims and Croats on their old front line. After over a year of shelling night and day, it's now a jungle of booby traps and unexploded bombs. Stary Vitez is a tiny Muslim enclave surrounded by Croats who are themselves surrounded by Muslims, a sort of siege within a siege. 600 people live in the enclave, and part of the army's job now is to help make the area safe. Corporal Warburton is the second British soldier to die in Bosnia. In January last year, Corporal Wayne Edwards was killed by a sniper whilst patrolling the front line at Gorny Vakuf. As darkness fell, the army remained at the scene. So too do hundreds of other mines that will need to be cleared before the warring neighbours on either side of the line can get on with the job of reconciliation. For Britain's 3,350 troops serving here with the United Nations, this tragedy shows, all too clearly, the dangers which are now a part of their crucial role in returning peace to Bosnia. Adam Holloway, ITN, Vitez.
Here, the Liberal Democrats have attacked the TUC for allowing only Labour to speak at an anti-racism rally in East London. Both they and the Conservatives were banned from the rally. Liberal Democrat leader Paddy Ashdown said the ban made a mockery of the rally's slogan, "Unite Against Racism." John Draper reports.
The march was colourful and noisy, but the message was serious because of the increase in attacks on Asian and black young people on these same streets. Several have been killed, others have serious injuries. Union leaders marched with relatives of victims like Kudus Ali, who's still in hospital.
Well, this march is not only important to the family, this march is important to the whole Bangladeshi community.
Later at a rally, the Labour MP DIANE ABBOTT told the crowd that any methods should be used, including on the streets, to stop the British National Party, who she linked to the attacks.
We will do whatever it takes to drive you off the streets of this country. And I mean whatever it takes at a parliamentary level, at a local authority level, at a community level, and yes, at a street level too.
The TUC had refused to allow Paddy Ashdown to address the rally because of allegedly racist leaflets issued by local Liberal Democrats.
You know, you don't just have to go to places where you're going to speak. You'd have been very welcome to have come along just to listen.
My main complaint about TUC is that they have converted a very useful rally into a partisan affair by attempting to gag Liberal Democrats and Paddy Ashdown. They've exposed themselves to be a partisan group in promoting only the Labour Party by excluding Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives.
John Draper, ITN, East London.
A man and a woman have been stabbed to death in a flat in Plymouth. Police said they were victims of a ferocious attack. The bodies were discovered in the top floor flat after friends raised the alarm. The dead couple were last seen alive several days ago. Detectives say the murders could be drug-related. It's now 22 minutes to 6. You're watching the morning news from ITN. We'll take a short break. Coming up, from the slums of Naples, the despair overshadowing Italy's make-or-break elections. And a red card for Cantona spells danger for United's FA Cup plans.